The countdown is on. First tonight on Our News, live at 7, the PLP's 55th National Convention just weeks away. The party touting its unity ahead of the two-day meeting. Party position hopefuls expected to go head-to-head in key races. Also, selling dreams for votes? The House chaplain cautions candidates to not overpromise in the by-election campaign. Plus, our week-long Going Back to the Island series continues tonight. Joshua Williams is in San Salvador, where we learn about efforts to strengthen community. Then in Our News at 7:30, our coverage of the upcoming PLP convention and by-election continues. The chief passport officer who got the nod for the PLP's candidacy resigns ahead of the poll. Our News live at 7 starts right now. Welcome to Our News Live at 7. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Kendino Knowles. The countdown is on to the Progressive Liberal Party's 55th National Convention. The two-day event will see party position hopefuls go head-to-head in key races. Jamila Mizik gets us started tonight.
The next Progressive Liberal Party convention is slated for November 9th and 10th at the Bahamian Resort. Despite tempers flaring between members of the Progressive Liberal Party following the selection of Kingsley Smith over Shane Gibson and 8 others to be the standard bearer for the PLP in the upcoming West Grants, Bahama and Bimini by-election, the party contends all hands are on deck ahead of its 55th National Convention.
Beyond the typical convention resolutions, we will embark on a comprehensive review of where the PLP stands today.
But the main event for many will be the election of national officers, and Our News understands that all positions are up for grabs. There's also been speculation that former PLP MP Shane Gibson could offer himself to contest the party's chairman position currently held by Fred Mitchell. But Cartwright says the public won't know for sure until close of day on Thursday.
The procedure for this has been set with transparency and fairness in mind. All nominees must be convention delegates, and with the nomination deadline this coming Thursday, we are gearing up for this critical process.
Now, while the day sessions will be closed to the public, convention co-chair Senator Quintin Lightbourne says this year's convention promises to be filled with lots of lively and transformative discussions.
Perhaps one of the most anticipated segments will be the Hot Topics polling results panel. This session will delve into pressing national questions such as should marital rape be criminalized, should marijuana be legalized in the Bahamas for recreational and medicinal purposes, and should the Bahamas transition to a republic.
The convention's night sessions will be open to the public, and it will climax with a gala ball celebrating the party's 70th year anniversary. 70 men and women will also be honored for their contributions to party and nation. Reporting for Our News, I'm Jamila Mizik.
All right, thanks for that, Jamila. And now to news out of today's parliamentary session, which had quite an interesting start. This is House Chaplain Bishop Valentino Williams cautioned parliamentarians not to sell dreams for votes. His comments came during his moments of impact ahead of the parliamentary session. Williams' topic was let your word be your bond. He told both sides that as leaders, they must ensure integrity is embedded in their value system.
One of the easiest ways to cause people to mistrust, discredit, and question your integrity as an individual or as a leader is to make a promise and not fulfill it. In conclusion, as the by-election race heats up for the West Grand Bahama and Bimini seat, I want to encourage both political parties in this honorable house to do the honorable thing. Don't give people false hope. People have real problems that need real solutions.
The message comes as both parties prepare to move their campaign machinery into West Grand Bahama for the upcoming by-election. As he wrapped up, Bishop Williams giving this word of advice.
Don't sell dreams just for votes. If you give a promise, let your word be your bond. I leave you with this thought. Don't ever promise more than you can deliver, but always deliver more than you can promise.
All right, our coverage on the upcoming by-election continues, coming up in Our News at 7:30. A 24-year-old prison officer is behind bars tonight after being accused of unlawful sexual intercourse with a person with a mental disorder. Prosecutors say Christopher Gomez had sex with a woman in July and August this year who was unable to legally consent because of her mental impairment. Gomez wasn't asked to plead when he stood before Senior Magistrate Carolyn Vogt Evans. Bail was denied. He'll remain in custody until he's granted bail by the Supreme Court. Meanwhile, a 28-year-old female employee of a local hotel has been treated and discharged from hospital after being stabbed yesterday. Police say shortly before 9 a.m., she and a male employee got into a fight when she was stabbed. We are told a 27-year-old suspect is in custody assisting with the investigation. East Grand Bahama Member of Parliament Kwesi Thompson is calling for an inquiry into a recent accident in Sweetings Key which ended in the death of a man. Some weeks back, a Water and Sewerage Corporation employee was crushed to death when a water tank collapsed on him. He was later identified as Tony Scriven Jr. Thompson says his family deserves to know exactly what happened.
The circumstances of that deserves there to be an inquiry. And I think the family deserves to have an inquiry done. There is if there's going to be an inquest, then that's fine. I mean, I haven't heard that there's going to be an inquest, but if there's going to be an inquest, then wonderful. That's fine. But the only issue that I wish it to be known is that it deserves for there to be an inquiry into the circumstances of his death.
All right, and we will certainly continue to follow that story. We've got a whole lot more to get to tonight, including the latest on the DRA's home repair program. A look at the numbers are straight ahead, but for now, we've had some pretty windy conditions the past few nights, but just how long will this continue? Meteorologist Greg Thompson standing by in the Weather Center. Greg, I hope for another week, at least 2.
I'm not going to promise you that, but yeah, the remainder of the week is going to be very windy.
One can hope.
Yeah, just one. We did have some very quick passing showers as well on those breezes, and we're going to continue to see that as some of that moisture is being picked up off the Atlantic. So look for some of those later on tonight through tomorrow. 79 degrees outside our studios, partly cloudy. It is still breezy. The wind's out of the east-northeast at 17 miles per hour, and that's making it feel rather comfortable out there. It feels like 78. Temperatures around the islands tonight right now, it's 79 in Freeport as well as in Great Harbor Key. Over in Marsh Harbor, you guys are 78. Allenstown, Bimini, 81. Nicholstown, 80. Over in Governor's Harbor, you guys are 79. You have some showers nearby there, or also in Great Harbor Key. Central Bahamas, 80 in Kemps Bay, Arthurstown, Cat Island, and Copentown, San Salvador, as well as the Edmonds Key. Some showers near the Arthurstown location. Georgetown, 81. And into the southeast Bahamas, 82 with some showers in the Ragged Island chain. 80s in Colonel Hill, Cricket Island, Delectable Bay, pick up 81 in Abrahams Bay, 82 in Providenciales, Turks and Caicos Islands. Matthew Down in Agua, you have a carbon copy of that temperature as well. Satellite and radar composite showing some moisture being picked up over that stiff northeast to easterly breeze, and that's bringing in some isolated showers. Some of those occurred across the northwest Bahamas, most of that now moving into the Florida area. We will continue to see some more of those shower activities as this wind pattern is going to remain with us. High pressure is going to continue to strengthen, and Tammy is still out there. Pressure gradient is keeping things rather breezy for us. That's a quick check on conditions around the island. Stick with us. A look at your extended forecast is still to come.
We are just getting started in our news, but when we come back, we are learning from the Disaster Reconstruction Authority that 25% of the homes slated for repairs have been complete. And speaking of repairs, Work in Progress segment is back tonight. Find out high priority items on the new minister's agenda. And stay with us for the return of our Going Back to the Island series from San Salvador, where snorkeling, diving, and fishing abound. Joshua Williams gives us a taste of life on the island when our news returns.
We're going where Columbus first landed, where snorkeling, diving, and fishing abound, to sparkling inland lakes and historical monuments bordered by miles of crystal clear water sandy beaches. Join me as we gallivant across native Guanahani. Starting October 23rd, the Our News team is reporting nightly at 7 and 7:30, bringing you the best in San Salvadorian life. And be sure to follow our social media pages. You all ain't coming?
embrace technology and the digital transformation for better business results. For small business owners, it's essential to understand how technology can affect operational efficiencies. Modern communication relies on technology, and your customer service depends on communication. With proper tools like our fixed and mobile services, we help you stay connected. For solutions that work, ask the experts. Call Cable Bahamas Business Solutions.
In what we do at Best Brew, it really doesn't end when the customer purchases our product. We offer specialty coffee, tea, spices, and brewing equipment. We do a lot of our orders via website. We actually have the mobile service and the phone service and the internet. So having business in a box really kind of brought everything together for us and helps us to be able to provide the customer service that we pride ourselves on.
About 50 homes have been completed under the Disaster Reconstruction Authority's home repair program. That's according to DRA Executive Chairman Alex Storr. Earlier this year, he said that 200 homes qualified for the small home repairs program, 100 in Grand Bahama and the other 100 in Abaco. Storr also revealed some necessary improvements have also been made to enhance process at the authority.
We have totally aligned the structure of how the DRA operates and put processes in place. We found that there were a lot of things missing, simple in improving purchase orders and other things. Even the purchase order system was flawed, and so we have changed all that, revamped that. That has allowed us to now more efficiently use the donations and taxpayer funds that we have come with, and we have now ramped up our home repair programs on both Grand Bahama and Abaco and providing relief for those that have been crying out.
Storr says the DRA is prioritizing projects by needs and says small repairs that can be completed quickly will be given priority.
As you know, we are just one of many government agencies that have to compete for government funds. So the funds that we use, we try to help as many people as we can as quickly as possible, but of course we can't help everyone all at once. Our priority is to try and get those persons that were in the domes before into new homes. So we have some that are applying for homes at Ministry of Housing. We have one or two that had to move to trailers. We are also coming up with a joint venture with a private company that we'll speak to later that will provide rental housing on the island that will alleviate some of those housing problems.
All right, the Ministry of Works and Family Island Affairs has a new minister with his own agenda. In tonight's Work in Progress segment, Berthany McDermott tells us some of his high priority items.
Works and Family Island Affairs Minister Clay Sweeting says his immediate goal is to address concerns that plague Bahamians most. He breaks it down into two categories, New Providence and the Family Islands. And Nassau, it's the long-standing issue with roads.
As we're looking at a road improvement project that don't just cover roads, just patching, but paving, also drainage, and also other areas that need to be adhered to in New Providence. We understand that the whole, for the most part, of the east end of the island and other inner communities are having challenges with roads that haven't been paved properly, or there are holes in the road.
The issue of potholes and drainage has been a point of contention for many who've complained it's damaging their vehicles. Since taking up the new post, he says they've been hard at work trying to provide some relief for motorists.
A few weeks, you've noticed that we've been addressing a lot of potholes. We've been addressing drainage challenges out in Darsville Street, Bay Street area to, if not fix the issue, at least assist with drainage there. So for New Providence, that is of course a national concern.
Then there's the Family Islands. While he says that they too face challenges with roads, that's not the only big concern there.
In the Family Islands, we understand that we have docks and bridges and also road improvement projects there as well that we're addressing as soon as possible. The Ministry of Works encompasses not only infrastructural works, but we also encompasses other works that might come from other ministries that we assist with them as well. So for us, we're addressing immediate challenges that the public has been asking about and looking for us to bring immediate change to, and we're trying to do that as quick as possible.
Reporting for Work in Progress for Our News, I'm Berthany McDermott.
When Our News comes back from the break, we turn our spotlight to stories making headlines across the world as calls are made for the UN chief to resign over comments about Hamas. Why he says he won't as the Israeli bombardment continues. Plus, Sam Bankman-Fried set to testify in his ongoing fraud trial in New York. And a Roman Catholic priest charged with 4 counts of sexual offenses in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Find out what's next in the case when our news returns.
We're going where Columbus first landed, where snorkeling, diving, and fishing abound, to sparkling inland lakes and historical monuments bordered by miles of crystal clear water sandy beaches. Join me as we gallivant across native Guanahani. Starting October 23rd, the Our News team is reporting nightly at 7 and 7:30, bringing you the best in San Salvadorian life. And be sure to follow our social media pages. You all ain't coming?
Embrace technology and the digital transformation for better business results. For small business owners, it's essential to understand how technology can affect operational efficiencies. Modern communication relies on technology, and your customer service depends on communication. With proper tools like our fixed and mobile services, we help you stay connected. For solutions that work, ask the experts. Call Cable Bahamas Business Solutions.
In what we do at Best Brew, it really doesn't end when the customer purchases our product. We offer specialty coffee, tea, spices, and brewing equipment. We do a lot of our orders via website. We actually have the mobile service and the phone service and the internet. So
This is our news. Welcome back. We turn our attention now to stories making headlines across the world. United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres says he's shocked at the reaction to a statement he made on Tuesday about the war between Israel and Hamas. He says he clearly condemned the acts of terror inflicted on Israel in remarks where he also said the attacks did not happen in a vacuum. Guterres addressed the controversy after Israel said it would deny visas to top UN officials in response. But Israel's ambassador continues to call for Guterres to resign, saying it is a disgrace he did not retract his words or apologize.
I am shocked by the misrepresentations by some of my statement yesterday in the Security Council, as if I was justifying acts of terror by Hamas. This is false. It was the opposite. In the beginning of my intervention yesterday, I clearly stated, and I quote, "I have condemned unequivocally the horrifying and unprecedented 7 October acts of terror by Hamas in Israel. Nothing can justify the deliberate killing, injuring, and kidnapping of civilians or the launching of rockets against civilian targets." End quote.
FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried plans to testify at his fraud trial in New York. That's according to his lawyer, who told a federal judge Wednesday, ending speculation over whether he would remain silent. This after prosecutors portrayed him as a greedy entrepreneur who stole billions of dollars from customers. Attorney Mark Cohen told Judge Lewis Kaplan that he planned to call 3 witnesses, including Bankman-Fried, after prosecutors rest early Thursday. Over the last month, prosecutors have leaned heavily on testimony from Bankman-Fried's inner circle and former top executives who lived in a luxury penthouse condominium here in the Bahamas. And finally, from the region, a Roman Catholic priest has been charged with 4 counts of sexual offenses in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. On Monday, the priest, who is a foreign national, was arraigned on 2 counts of rape and 2 counts of indecent assault and appeared on camera before Magistrate John Bala. Media reports say the cleric is alleged to have committed unlawful sex acts on a teenage female and was not asked to plead. He was granted bail, and a preliminary inquiry is expected to determine if there is enough evidence against him to send the matter to trial. Still to come in our news today in history, find out interesting facts about the day that was October 25th. Then in our news at 7:30, our coverage of the upcoming PLP convention and by-election continues. But first, a 12-year-old has been found living alone in a car. The education minister says the boy was found by school attendance monitors. Plus, the latest on those missing DRA assets. The executive chairman tells us a police investigation is still ongoing. When our news returns.
We're going where Columbus first landed, where snorkeling, diving, and fishing abound, to sparkling inland lakes and historical monuments bordered by miles of crystal clear water sandy beaches. Join me as we gallivant across native Guanahani. Starting October 23rd, the Our News team is reporting nightly at 7 and 7:30, bringing you the best in San Salvadorian life. And be sure to follow our social media pages. You all ain't coming?
Embrace technology and the digital transformation for better business results. For small business owners, it's essential to understand how technology can affect operational efficiencies. Modern communication relies on technology, and your customer service depends on communication. With proper tools like our fixed and mobile services, we help you stay connected. For solutions that work, ask the experts. Call Cable Bahamas Business Solutions.
In what we do at Best Brew, it really doesn't end when the customer purchases our product. We offer specialty coffee, tea, spices, and brewing equipment. We do a lot of our orders via website. We actually have the mobile service and the phone service and the internet. So having business in a box really kind of brought everything together for us and helps us to be able to provide the customer services that we pride ourselves on.
Welcome back to Our News. It's time now to take a look at events that shaped the day that was October 25th. Take a look. On this day in Bahamian history in 2014, Ronnie Butler was inducted into the Caribbean Hall of Fame in Kingston, Jamaica. The late Bahamian icon brought us hit songs like Burma Road, Married Man, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number, and many others. At the time of his induction, he was the fourth Bahamian to earn the distinction, joining the ranks of Sir Lyndon Pindling, Sir Sidney Poitier, and Eddie Minnis. Then in 2015, Dr. Hervis Lamont Bain died in Nassau. He was 73. Bain was a theologian, artist, and cultural icon. As a nation builder, he ushered the Bahamas onto the scene with his exemplary creation of our national symbols, the flag and coat of arms, for an independent Bahamas in 1973. Dr. Bain was a significant fixture in the worlds of education and culture, particularly Junkanoo, having influenced many of the past great icons we know today. Then in 2017, at the Progressive Liberal Party's convention, Philip Davis and Chester Cooper were elected leader and deputy leader, respectively.
Do not be afraid, for the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Be strong and be brave.
In the 2021 general elections, Davis and Cooper led the party to victory. And in 2018, former cabinet minister and PLP chairman emeritus Bradley Roberts died 2 months before his 75th birthday.
For me, he was a good friend, a mentor, someone who was one of my strong supporters, who always gave me good advice and who always was there for me.
I think history has a way of catching up with these things, and The question is, what would have caused the PLP to win in 2002? What would have caused us to win in 2012? And, significant contributions on a sustained basis from personalities like Bradley Roberts.
Although they were political opponents, former Prime Minister Hubert Ingram said at the time Roberts would be remembered as a firebrand politician. Roberts was first elected to the House for the PLP in a by-election following the death of Shadrach Morris, who was the incumbent in the Old Grantstown constituency in 1982. Roberts served continuously as an MP for 25 years, but did not run for re-election in the 2007 general election and retired from frontline politics in 2017. All right, that historical recap is available again for you to see right at ournews.bs. Well, it's a small island, but it's got a lot to offer. Tonight, Joshua Williams highlights the highs and lows of life on San Salvador in our Going Back to the Island series. He sat down with San Salvador's island administrator to talk about the way forward and the issues that they're addressing.
On the southeastern island of San Salvador, the local administrator Francis Barr is responsible for managing and meeting the needs and concerns of residents. Barr says one of the main accomplishments this year has been the reopening of Club Med.
You need money in order to thrive. And so Club Med brings hope for the residents, in fact, to get employment. They're able to work to sustain their families, to pay bills.
But there are issues. One of them, says Barr, is getting supplies.
We can be more cooperative. Sometimes, especially when it comes to the departments in Nassau, it's kind of like tedious to get supplies and stuff from the various departments. But in terms of the mailboat services, once they are delivered to the boat, we get them in an adequate and a sufficient amount of time.
Earlier this week, we visited the local high school. It has 15 faculty members. Barr says while they're doing a good job, more help is needed.
We definitely need teachers. I can speak for the high school. I know we need a religious studies teacher. We need teachers in order to, to be on par with the rest of the Bahamas. But the teachers here are excellent. They are excellent, and they deliver, and they go above and beyond the call of duty.
Then there's a concern about local fishermen and dive operators who want to operate in waters the Bahamas National Trust is seeking to protect as part of the national park system. Barr says stakeholders are coming together to formulate a solution.
All these protected areas that they're trying to incorporate that leave us only to use the ocean. So we're pleading to B&T, to revisit that idea. They told me nothing is edged in stone, so they can take our concerns back to the minister.
While Ms. Barr is grateful for tourism and foreign relations, she's encouraging residents to invest more into their community.
That is my goal. That is why last week I would have met with all the business owners to find out their concerns and how we can move San Salvador forward to the, to bring us up to standards so people will want to say, hey, I'm in San Salvador. What can I do?
Reporting from San Salvador for Our News, I'm Joshua Williams.
All right, thanks a lot for that, Josh. Good to hear about those efforts on San Salvador. And we've got more coming out of San Salvador in our Going Back to the Island week-long series. So be sure and stay tuned to Our News as we follow our Joshua Williams and cameraman Taran Knowles, who are on an island adventure for a week. So if you want to see that story again and for all of today's top stories, remember you can visit ournews.bs. It's going to do it for us in News at 7. Joining us now is Atalia Hall with the latest headlines. Atalia, I know you've still got more on the upcoming by-election and the PLP convention.
For sure, that's coming up. Thanks so much, Ken. Well, our coverage on the upcoming PLP convention and by-election continues. And disturbing news about a 12-year-old boy found living alone in a car. Here are your latest headlines. An official resignation first tonight on Our News Live at 7:30. The PLP's candidate for West Grand Bahama and Bimini constituency resigns from his post as chief passport officer. This as the PLP kicks off its campaign on Grand Bahama with the arrival of its candidate this afternoon. Also, an official date announced for the party's convention. We'll tell you the key races coming up. And later, a grim discovery as a 12-year-old boy is found living alone in a car. Our News Live at 7:30 is back in a moment.
The new KFC nuggets have arrived. That unlike the no-gets.
We're going where Columbus first landed, where snorkeling, diving, and fishing abound, to sparkling inland lakes and historical monuments bordered by miles of crystal clear water sandy beaches. Join me as we gallivant across native Guanahani. Starting October 23rd, the Our News team is reporting nightly at 7 and 7:30, bringing you the best in San Salvadorian life. And be sure to follow our social media pages. You all ain't coming?
Embrace technology and the digital transformation for better business results. For small business owners, it's essential to understand how technology can affect operational efficiencies. Modern communication relies on technology, and your customer service depends on communication. With proper tools like our fixed and mobile services, we help you stay connected. For solutions that work, ask the experts. Call Cable Bahamas Business Solutions.
In what we do at Best Brew, it really doesn't end when the customer purchases our product. We offer specialty coffee, tea, spices, and brewing equipment. We do a lot of our orders via website. We actually have the mobile service and the phone service and the internet. So having business in a box really kind of brought everything together for us.
Welcome to our news and thank you for joining us. I'm Natalia Hall. Progressive Liberal Party candidate for the West Grand Bahama and Bimini constituency, Kingsley Smith, officially resigning from his post as Chief Passport Officer today. In a letter addressed to the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Smith notes that the decision is solely based on the opportunity to represent the PLP in the upcoming by-election. The former Chief Passport Officer, who was appointed to the position in May of 2022, thanking everyone for their help and support. While those pictures outside the Grand Bahama International Airport this afternoon as the Progressive Liberal Party's candidate for the West Grand Bahama and Bimini constituency arrived on the island, his first visit since selected as the standard bearer. Smith was accompanied by parliamentary officials and other PLP candidates who were vying for the party's nomination to run in the upcoming by-election. Here's Smith speaking with the media outside the airport.
These are the people I born and raised and I grow with. Let them know. And they expect me to deliver for them, to bring the right representation that they desire. All right? Minister Wilshcombe obviously had all these people. And so I must do my best to continue. And I won't let them down. No!
All right, well, a candidate launched church service is underway at Inspirational Global Ministries in Holmes Rock at this hour. We'll have more from that service on Our News tomorrow. The countdown is on to the Progressive Liberal Party's 55th National Convention. The two-day event will see party position hopefuls go head-to-head in key races. Our Jamila Mizik reports.
The next Progressive Liberal Party convention is slated for November 9th and 10th at the Bahama Resort. Despite tempers flaring between members of the Progressive Liberal Party following the selection of Kingsley Smith over Shane Gibson and 8 others to be the standard bearer for the PLP in the upcoming West Grants Bahama and Bimini by-election, the party contends all hands are on deck ahead of its 55th National Convention.
Beyond the typical convention resolutions, we will embark on a comprehensive review of where the PLP stands today.
But the main event for many will be the election of national officers, and Our News understands that all positions are up for grabs. There's also been speculation that former PLP MP Shane Gibson could offer himself to contest the party's chairman position currently held by Fred Mitchell. But Cartwright says the public won't know for sure until close of day on Thursday.
The procedure for this has been set with transparency and fairness in mind. All nominees must be convention delegates, and with the nomination deadline this coming Thursday, we are gearing up for this critical process.
Now, while the day sessions will be closed to the public, convention co-chair Senator Quintin Lightbourne says this year's convention promises to be filled with lots of lively and transformative discussions.
Perhaps one of the most anticipated segments will be the Hot Topics polling results panel. This session will delve into pressing national questions such as should marital rape be criminalized? Should marijuana be legalized in the Bahamas for recreational and medicinal purposes? And should the Bahamas transition to a republic?
The convention's night sessions will be open to the public, and it will climax with a gala ball celebrating the party's 70th year anniversary. 70 men and women will also be honored for their contributions to party and nation. Reporting for Our News, I'm Jamila Missick.
All right, thanks for that, Jamila. Now to this disturbing story about a 12-year-old boy who was found living alone in a car. According to Education Minister Gladys Hannah Martin, the child was found by school attendance monitors who recently went into communities to find students that have been absent from school since COVID-19 lockdowns. Hannah Martin, who was contributing to parliamentary debate on the speech from the throne, said during one walkabout in Freetown, attendance monitors found 60 students out of school. As for the 12-year-old boy, she says he's since been placed in the care of social services.
The other day, they found a 12-year-old living in a car by himself. By himself. We are not that anymore. I just want you to know that. He's in safe custody. But these are the issues that now we could ignore it, you know. We could ignore it, turn ahead the next way. But that will come back to haunt us. And further should haunt us anyhow, because a child should not fall by the wayside.
Stephana Saunders is the Supreme Court's new acting justice, surrounded by family and friends this afternoon. Saunders taking the oath and received her instruments from Governor General Her Excellency Cynthia Pratt in a short swearing-in ceremony. After decades of service to the judiciary, Saunders will now handle civil matters on Grand Bahama and says she plans to hit the ground running.
The challenges in Grand Bahama is twofold. You know, we have a backlog, and it is difficult sometimes for matters to proceed. You know, sometimes the lawyers are not ready. Sometimes you might have issues with technical work because we work by Zoom a lot now. But hopefully, with my tenure, I hope to battle whatever I can.
All right, lots of wind as we move closer and closer towards the weekend. Meteorologist Greg Thompson is in the Weather Center with a first check on weather. Greg?
Yeah, it's been windy today, windy yesterday. Will continue to be windy for the remainder of the week. We do have a large high pressure system that's strengthening to the north, and that's basically keeping our winds out of the east-northeast, and it is bumped up. It was 17, 16 miles per hour earlier. It's now at 18 miles per hour. 78 degrees under partly cloudy skies, and those winds making it feel like a very comfortable 77. Satellite and radar composite showing some patchy clouds moving across us, courtesy of that stiff northeast to easterly breeze and some quick passing showers. We got some of those earlier today across the capital. Most of the activity is now moving into the Florida Straits and across South Florida. We will continue to see that pattern throughout the night and into tomorrow as those winds continue to keep us very windy for the next several days. That's a quick check on conditions around the island. Stick with us, look at the tropics, and your extended forecast is still to come.
When we come back from the break, police still investigating millions of dollars of assets missing from the Disaster Reconstruction Authority. Plus, we'll tell you how the Ministry of Foreign Affairs Diplomatic Week put the focus on the next generation of leaders. And later, we continue our Going Back to the Island series with Joshua Williams in San Salvador when our news returns.
For 38 years, Struckham Commercial Pest Services has provided trained certified technicians.
Favorite Bahamian artist of all time? I'll give you some time to think about it.
The greatest Bahamian song was recorded by the beginning of the end, Funky Nassau.
We're in a day and age where things can be different and still be authentically Bahamian because it's the Bahamian people bringing it to you.
Junkin was like the heart and soul of the Bahamian culture.
Introducing the Focal Smart Pass app that helps you to fuel up faster. Here's how it works. Download the app on the App Store or get it on Google Play and create your profile with payment details. Visit your nearest Shell station, open the app, scan the pump's QR code, select your payment amount, and begin fueling. Say goodbye to cash and cards because the Focal Smart Pass offers secure and convenient payment options right at your fingertips. Download Focal Smart Pass now and fuel up faster today.
Doctors Hospital has reimagined primary care. We have invested to improve our health system, ensuring that accessible, affordable, world-class clinical care is closer to you. Your relationship with a primary care provider shapes the foundation of your overall health. Our new, modern primary care facilities are where critical diagnosis and true personalized treatment begin. With locations across New Providence, Grand Bahama, and Exuma, we invite you to experience the Doctors Hospital difference. Book your next appointment at clinics.doctorshos.com.
Collect verse access is as easy as grab a collect, scan a collect. Open your camera app, focus on the QR code, and click the link that appears. You own your collect verse experience. Take selfies, join the cultural referendum, and share with your friends. See content from local chefs, Olympic athletes, and cultural icons. Collect is proud to be 50. Grab a collect, scan a collect. Get in the collect verse today.
We're going where Columbus first landed, where snorkeling, diving, and fishing abound, to sparkling inland lakes and historical monuments bordered by miles of crystal clear water sandy beaches. Join me as we gallivant across native Guanahani. Starting October 23rd, the Our News team is reporting nightly at 7 and 7:30, bringing you the best in San Salvadorian life. And be sure to follow our social media pages. You all ain't coming?
Police are still investigating millions of dollars of assets missing from the Disaster Reconstruction Authority. The issue of missing assets first surfaced last October, then again in January following an internal probe when DRA Executive Chairman Alex Storr revealed approximately $250,000 worth of missing items were never recovered. He's also since confirmed some of the assets were found in Abaco. Here's Storr addressing the issue today.
The police are actively investigating. We have met with the police again just this week. As a matter of fact, they requested additional information. We've handed that over to them.
You may recall back in September when Prime Minister Philip Davis said police would also conduct an investigation into a hurricane shelter in Abaco. The administration broke ground on the shelter in Central Pines back in December 2020, which was expected to be complete by May 2021. However, Davis told reporters what started out as $1.8 million hurricane shelter ballooned to a $4 million project, adding that some terrible mistakes were made which police would investigate. Storr also addressing this today.
We have moved to rectify all the issues that we found in place with the hurricane shelter. Those files are also in the hands of the police, and they'll determine whether it needs to be looked at closer or if there needs to be charges brought. But we've turned over all information to the police.
Dozens of foreign and local diplomats together for transformative discussions at the Bahamian Convention Center in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs Diplomatic Week that's currently underway. High school and university students were invited to a panel discussion this week, giving them a first-hand glimpse into the profession. Panelists and U.S. Embassy Political and Economic Unit Chief Erica Lewis calling it an important step for the next generation of leaders to understand the world of diplomacy, as it may help to shape their future careers.
I think that this was an incredibly important panel. I'm glad that the connection was made here. Personally, I decided I wanted to be a diplomat in high school, and it was through exposure. So the more that young people are able to see and interact with diplomats to get a sense for what we do and the issues that we are representing, I think that public service is something that's important. So being able to get this bird's eye view and ask questions of diplomats can help them then determine whether or not this might be a path that they'll want to pursue that maybe they hadn't thought of before.
When our news comes back from the break, 100 Jams reaching a major milestone. Entertainment correspondent Daniel Miller has the details.
The Bahamas recorded our first medal at the PanAm Games, and a pair of Bahamians face off on NBA opening night. Stay with us, Our Sports is coming up next.
And a major international airline resuming flights to the island of San Salvador. Our Joshua Williams is on the ground for our Going Back to the Island series when our news returns.
We're going where Columbus first landed, where snorkeling, diving, and fishing abound, to sparkling inland lakes and historical monuments bordered by miles of crystal clear water sandy beaches. Join me as we gallivant across native Guanahani. Starting October 23rd, the Our News team is reporting nightly at 7 and 7:30, bringing you the best in San Salvadorian life. And be sure to follow our social media pages. You all ain't coming?
Embrace technology and the digital transformation for better business results. For small business owners, it's essential to understand how technology can affect operational efficiencies. Modern communication relies on technology, and your customer service depends on communication. With proper tools like our fixed and mobile services, we help you stay connected. For solutions that work, ask the experts. Call Cable Bahamas Business Solutions.
In what we do at Best Brew, it really doesn't end when the customer purchases our product. We offer specialty coffee, tea, spices, and brewing equipment. We do a lot of our orders via website. We actually have the mobile service and the phone service and the internet. So having business in a box really kind of brought everything together for us and helps us to be able to provide the customer services that we pride ourselves on.
Don't spend hours sending individual messages to your customers. Use SMS messaging instead. With Cable Bahamas Business Solutions SMS messaging, you can send personalized messages to hundreds or even thousands of recipients instantly. It's quick, effortless, and cost-effective. Plus, it ensures that your messages are delivered directly to your customers' cellular phones, guaranteeing higher engagement. Save time and boost your outreach with SMS bulk messaging. Call Cable Bahamas Business Solutions at 601-8911 in Nassau or 602-8811 in the Family Islands.
Introducing the Focal Smart Pass.
We're going where Columbus first landed, where snorkeling, diving, and fishing abound, to sparkling inland lakes and historical monuments bordered by miles of crystal clear water sandy beaches. Join me as we gallivant across native Guanahani. Starting October 23rd, the Our News team is reporting nightly at 7 and 7:30, bringing you the best in San Salvadorian life. And be sure to follow our social media pages.
This is Our News. Welcome back. The month of October is a memorable one for 100 Jams, and that's because it's celebrating 30 years of broadcasting in the Bahamas. Our Daniel Miller spoke with the Chief Operating Officer at the Tribune Media Group about its history and upcoming events.
Throughout the years, the country has come to know 100 Jams as the place where hit music lives. For decades, they've kept listeners entertained with all-day programming and exclusive music releases. But the station holds a prominent position in our country's broadcasting history.
100 Jams was the vision of a young Robert Caron, a young man who would not take no for an answer. And with the unwavering support of his parents, Roger and Eileen Caron, made Jams a reality on Monday, October 11th, 1993. The introduction of 100 Jams is significant in several ways. The first public radio license in the Bahamas was issued to a woman, Miss Eileen Karen.
With this license, a new era was ushered in, giving citizens the opportunity to express their opinions on the airwaves. Along the way, there have been notable talents such as Ed Fields and Eric Ward, who hosted a morning show during the station's earlier years, DJ Fines, DJ Reality, and numerous others. 100 Jams is also known for their groundbreaking concert series like Jams Fest, which was hosted back in the 1990s.
It's featured artists like Boyz II Men, LL Cool J, Wycliffe Jean, Missy Elliott, Neely, Beanie Man.
With 30 years under their belt, in celebration of the milestone, the iconic station hosted a block party on October 13th, which overflowed with supporters dancing the night away to the sounds of countless local DJs and artists. On October 28th, the celebration continues, with reggae artist Taris Riley in concert at the Nassau Cruise Port.
Enjoy what will be a carnival-like atmosphere in the safety and comfort of the Nassau Cruise Port.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Danielle Miller.
All right, thanks for that, Danielle. Now moving to sports. This as the Bahamas picks up its first medal in Chile, and two Bahamians play each other in the first night of the NBA season. Here's Tage Adderley with a check on sports. Tage.
Thanks, Ty. Good evening. I'm Tage Adderley here to take you over the hump with some sports. We're only a few days into the 2023 PanAm Games, and already we have hardware courtesy of NCAA champ Lamar Taylor. Taylor is bringing home a bronze medal from Chile thanks to his 22.13 second finish in the men's 50-meter freestyle. His finish came behind Americans David Curtis and Jonathan Kudlow. His time broke the national record that he set in Japan back in July of this year. Incredibly enough, it wasn't the only national record he set in the meet. He finished in a time of 56.39 seconds in the 100-meter backstroke, breaking a record he also previously held. Now, the games are far from over, so don't be shocked if our athletes win some more medals. Speaking of Bahamian athletes, a couple sons of the soil squared off last night in the association. Eric Gordon's Phoenix Suns beat Klay Thompson and the Golden State Warriors last night, 108-84. Gordon struggled from the field for most of the night, scoring 10 points on 4 of 16 shooting. However, he made a few stout defensive plays, and he hit a big three-pointer in the last minute to secure the win for Phoenix. Klay scored 15 points, but he struggled as well from the field, shooting 6 of 18. However, he managed to hit a few three-pointers, and he did grab 7 rebounds. We're not done. We have a couple more Bahamians making their season debuts tonight. Buddy Hield and his Pacers will play the Washington Wizards, and DeAndre Ayton will play his first game for his new team, the Portland Trail Blazers, against the LA Clippers. We're all out of sports today. I'm Tage Adderley.
Still ahead on our news tonight, our Joshua Williams is on the island of San Salvador for our Going Back to the Island series. Hear about a major international airline that's resumed flights to the island and cool but windy conditions outside the Our News studios this evening. Greg is back with your extended forecast when Our News continues. Stay with us.
We're going where Columbus first landed, where snorkeling, diving, and fishing abound, to sparkling inland lakes and historical monuments bordered by miles of crystal clear water sandy beaches. Join me as we gallivant across native Guanahani. Starting October 23rd, the Our News team is reporting nightly at 7 and 7:30, bringing you the best in San Salvadorian life. And be sure to follow our social media pages. You all ain't coming?
Embrace technology and the digital transformation for better business results. For small business owners, it's essential to understand how technology can affect operational efficiencies. Modern communication relies on technology, and your customer service depends on communication. With proper tools like our fixed and mobile services, we help you stay connected. For solutions that work, ask the experts. Call Cable Bahamas Business Solutions.
In what we do at Best Brew, it really doesn't end when the customer purchases our product. We offer specialty coffee, tea, spices, and brewing equipment. We do a lot of our orders via website. We actually have the mobile service and the phone service and the internet. So having business in a box really kind of brought everything together for us and helps us to be able to provide the customer services that we pride ourselves on.
Don't spend hours sending individual messages to your customers. Use SMS messaging instead. With Cable Bahamas Business Solutions SMS messaging, you can send personalized messages to hundreds or even thousands of recipients instantly. It's quick, effortless, and cost-effective. Plus, it ensures that your messages are delivered directly to your customers' cellular phones, guaranteeing higher engagement. Save time and boost your outreach with SMS bulk messaging. Call Cable Bahamas Business Solutions at 601-8911 in Nassau or 602-8811 in the Family Islands.
Introducing the Focal Smart Pass app that helps you to fuel up faster. Here's how it works. Download the app on the App Store or get it on Google Play and create your profile with payment details. Visit your nearest Shell station. Open the
Welcome back to our news. Another windy day in the capital with cool temperatures, but just how long will these weather conditions last? Greg is back in the Weather Center with your extended forecast. Greg?
Yeah, thanks again, Natalia. Welcome back, everybody. Yeah, these are conditions expected to last throughout the remainder of the weekend, possibly even into the weekend, as that big ridge of high pressure to the north of us continues to generate some very breezy to windy conditions across the islands. But first, we still have Tammy out there. Tammy is still a hurricane, actually strengthened. It's up to 100-mile-per-hour winds. Moving towards the north, and eventually the system will continue on that trend for the next 24 to maybe 48 hours before it takes a northwesterly turn, and then back towards the north and northeast. Some of the computer models were having the system turn towards the west and looked like it was going to float somewhere in the Atlantic and possibly even make it towards our area. But no, that's not expected. Closer to home, high pressure in charge, and of course tight pressure gradient between Tammy, and that high pressure is going to continue to keep us breezy to windy for the rest of the week. So we're asking you boaters to remain out of the waters, and you beachgoers, we're asking you to stay out of the waters as well. We have very strong winds, northeast to easterly winds, 20 to 25 knots, and they will be gusting at times, possibly up to gale force across the northwest Bahamas. 5 to 8 foot seas expected, but up to 12 feet along the Atlantic exposures. Your low tide is presently high. It will be low at 9 minutes past midnight, and you can expect your next high tide at 6:12 in the morning. For the central and southeast Bahamas, we're asking you boaters down there as well to remain in port. Northeast to east winds, 15 to 25 knots, gusty at times. 5 to 7 foot seas with up to 10 foot seas along Atlantic exposures. Here's a look now at your national forecast. In the extended forecast, some breezy showers will be in the forecast throughout the remainder of the week with that stiff northeasterly winds, but temperatures will be very comfortable. Low to mid 80s during the daytime and low to mid 70s during the nighttime hours, and then we do expect a little bit of a disturbance by the weekend, so we could see an uptick in some showers by that time. That's a look at our weather. Back to you, Talia.
All right, thanks, Greg. Well, our Joshua Williams is on the island of San Salvador this week, and it's been perfect timing. This as a major international airline resumed flights to the island. He was on the tarmac as the plane arrived and has this report. Let's take a look.
Air Canada touched down on San Salvador around 2:30 on Tuesday afternoon, bringing 100 visitors to the island. The initiative is part of the official reopening of Club Med this week. Island Administrator Francis Barr and other tourism officials were on the tarmac to greet guests as they arrived. Barr calling the occasion gratifying.
Today is a proud moment. This is not our inaugural flight. This is just after a closed season. This would have been the first flight since the closed season, which was in July of this year. It brings residents great joy. I mean, employment started back up again, so residents are able to benefit greatly from this flight here today.
We got a chance to speak to some of the visitors, many who have been to the southeastern island many times before.
Extremely happy to be here. This is the first time here. Wonderful. Everybody's friendly. I've never felt so much kindness, coming out of an airplane.
Great. It's a great place. It's our fourth time. So it's a great place. People are great. It's the place you want to be.
We are a client for Club Med at other area, and we decided to come here just to try, and it's our favorite.
It's the island life that keeps these retirees coming back.
Oh my God, just relaxing, the food, the people, visiting, walking, going to the Columbus Cross, cutting onto the beach, finding some sea glass, everything. Just chilling.
As much as we can, as long as God gives us the time on the earth to come back, we'll be back.
Senior tourism official on the island, Velda Knowles, also on site to greet the visitors.
We are very much responsible for all of our visiting guests that comes to land. So it's going to be a fantastic time just sharing my culture, sharing my island, and doing what is best.
Another flight is set to come in on Thursday with even more guests, this one from Paris. From San Salvador for Our News, I'm Joshua Williams.
All right, great news for the island of San Salvador. Thanks so much, Josh. And of course, to see that story again, you can visit ournews.bs. And with that, we thank you for joining us for our news tonight. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Natalia Hall. We'll see you tomorrow night. Have a great evening.